everyone.
Today we are, well, I'm so excited for this video.
So this was a requested video, and it was our Meeting Taylor Swift story video. So that is what we are doing today. And if you have any requested videos for us, you can just like leave them below in the comments or whatever, and we can try to do those too.
So we'll try to explain this as best as possible, but
yeah, let's get started.
How we met Taylor was at the 13-hour meet and greet, and it was June 13th, 2010. So it was a little bit ago, but so
in Nashville.
Yeah, in Nashville. So we look kind of, different from now, but that's okay.
Yeah.
And so the announcement came out that she was having this 13-hour meet and greet, I'd say about 2 weeks before it happened. And we live like at least 12 hours away from Nashville. And we were like, oh my gosh, we have to go, Mom, can we please go? And we've never even been to Nashville before. So, I mean, it was kind of already a crazy thought. And she was like, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know how that happened.
And school was just getting over, so we didn't have school to worry about or anything. But she, I guess you, mostly her, convinced her that we needed to go. And she said, okay, we can go, but I was going to surprise you and that I have tickets to go to Nashville the week after your 13-hour meet and greet.
To see Taylor
perform in like a charity concert or something. And that was supposed to be our birthday present because our birthday's in the summer. And so we were like, okay. So we decided to go anyways.
And we'd never been to Nashville, so, I mean, it was kind of like, we had no idea how this was going to work.
Yeah, and we
didn't have, like, Twitter or anything back then.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy, but we did it.
So, fast forward to, like, when it actually happened. So, we drove to Nashville the day before, and it's like a 12-hour drive, or 13-hour drive, actually. And we got there at nighttime, I remember, and we'd never been there before. And I don't know, I guess we were just so excited for the next day. I remember finally going to bed in our hotel at like 11 o'clock, which isn't really that late.
It was for us back then.
But me and Megan were watching a baseball game, like we had our own room, as we fell asleep. And then, like, the last thing I remember was the final score of the baseball game was 13, Taylor Swift's lucky number, to 9, which was my lucky number. So yeah, that was really cool.
Sign and vlog. Fast forward to the next day, we had gotten up at like 5:30 in the morning because we just had heard that doors were opening at 8, I think. So
or 8:30.
We didn't really know our way around. So we got up at 5:30, and then my brother and my dad dropped us off at Bridgestone Arena, which is downtown Nashville. And so we're like, okay, here's the end of the line. They kind of just dropped us off and left. And so we were standing in line, and we've never been to the arena before, so we didn't know where the main doors were or anything. So we were just kind of standing around, and we saw the sign. Oh my goodness, I can't. And it said Taylor Swift 13-hour meet and greet, so we're like, we have to be in the right spot. And we got in the line, and we were just kind of waiting around, and me and Taylor were like, we're going to go look around. And we looked around the other side of the building and finally realized we were halfway around the building. Like the line was already halfway around the building, and the doors didn't open for another hour and a half. And so that was kind of crazy.
We were kind of like, well, this isn't happening.
Yeah, we're like, oh my.
And it was like 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah. So. And so we're like, okay, there's so many people here. This is going to be so hard. But, well, while we were waiting out there, that's us. I'm Megan, am in the purple, and Taylor's in the red. And that's with us with our sign.
Okay, so inside, so this was in Bridgestone Arena, and the event happened, like, in the whole entire arena, basically. So up on the concourse, when you walk in, there was, like, they were selling merch, and then they had, like, face painters, so they, like, painted, like, I had I Heart T Swift on my arm that they painted. What did they paint on you?
Oh, I forgot about that. 13 or something.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they had like all these different things that they could paint on you, which is so cool. And this was like all free.
And then a side note to that, we had before we got I had Swift written on my forehead, and Taylor had Taylor on her forehead.
And so they had that, and then there was just and then they were giving out like free stuff and like free American greeting cards and stuff like that. And it was basically, this whole thing was basically like a game. And
that's kind of what it felt like.
The whole objective was to get 13 management to notice you. And it was like kind of how they ran Club Red. They like looked to see who stood out the most and like that sort of thing.
Who had the coolest costume, coolest poster, yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know what we were thinking, but all we had was, like, our little poster, and we just kind of walked around, and we were like,
yeah.
We didn't really do anything crazy.
We were just kind of like, there's a 13 management, hold your poster up and hope they notice you, you know.
But I think there was, like, a lot of people there.
Yeah, there was.
But then back down in the arena, usually there'd be, like, a stage and, seats on the floor. Well, that was all, like, taken out. And in the floor, they had, like, her semi-trucks and...
Well,
yes?
Like, when you walk down, they had, during the Fearless Tour, they had, like, love story... What do you call them? Like, love story props, like, the big, huge, like, cylinders that made it look like it was in a castle, so those were hanging from...
Oh, from the
ceiling and stuff.
And they had the tea party room set up so you could go walk through that, which was really cool.
So technically we've been to the tea party.
Yeah. And they had like her dresses on display like they do in Club Red now. And in the middle there was a stage. It was like a mini B stage, but like in the middle of the arena. And she would perform on that later. And then also throughout the whole arena, there was, like, her band was, like, meeting people in different places.
Yeah, and, okay, so as we were walking kind of around, we, the first thing we saw was, like, the, costumes from the Fearless Tour, so you can kind of see those, and Taylor's robe. Hopefully you can
see. Had the bands in there, too.
And so, right past that, Amos, Mike, and Al, her old drummer, if you don't know, were all meeting people, so... That's a picture of us with them, and so we just got to meet them, and we're like, oh my gosh, that's so cool.
We look so bad in those pictures.
I know, and then we're like, hey, there's the tea party. So we went in that, and they just kind of had a little flow that you, like, it was almost like an exhibit. Like, you walked in around, you weren't supposed to touch anything, and so this is a welcome sign for the tea party, and let's see, inside, this is, like, inside, and you can see the, wall of pictures and sheets, color sheets as the ceiling, kind of. And then, like, this is a picture she had in there that looks like someone made for her. It says,
you opened my eyes and you made me believe.
Yeah, from Crazier. So we thought that was cool. Oh, and then there was a picture of, we also thought this was cool, a little lamp with a guitar, and this is 13. And so we just walked through there, and we're like, wow, this is so cool. I mean, this is worth it already. We've got to go to the tea party, so... And then, after that, we had been in there probably...
This was about, like, 10 o'clock, and we got in there at, like, 8.
Probably an hour or two. And so, I was like, I have to go to the bathroom. And I'm kind of known in my family for going to the bathroom a lot. So my mom was like, oh, okay, yeah, fine. And so, we left, and we went around the other side of the arena that we came in, so we kind of walked past everything. But at the corner of my eye, I saw that Andrea was standing off to the side, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's Andrea. So we went over there, and we'd never met her before. I don't think so. No, I don't think so. And so there's kind of just a little clump of people, but after a few minutes, a lot of people were around her. And so we're like, oh my gosh, we have to stay here. Sorry, Megan, can't go to the bathroom. and so we were kind of standing there, and people were starting to get a little, like, kind of mean, I'd say. And so... Andrea was like, okay, get in line, I'm going to start bus tours. And we were like, what? What bus tours? So we're like, we're not leaving at all. So we, like, just kind of stood where we thought the line might be, and we ended up being second in line for bus tours. So all of a sudden, instead of going to the bathroom, we were going on Taylor's bus.
So since we were in second in line, it was probably about a 15-minute wait for us. And, I don't think, we're one of the few fans that actually went in the bus that day, I think, because they closed the line pretty quick, I think, for security, and it just was, like, a long time. But anyway, so we were waiting in line in front of her bus for Andrew to get done with the first group, and Scott came up to us, and we'd never met him before, and he came over and, like, started talking to us, and he gave us guitar picks.
Yeah, we're like, oh my gosh, thanks.
And they're from, like, they're, like, Fearless era guitar picks, too. And he walked away. My mom was like, "Who was that?" And we were like, "That's Scott,
and
Mom."
Like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know.
So that happened while we were waiting, and then it was me, Megan, and my mom, and then these two other girls. We were like one group, basically. So Andrea came out and got us, and then we went in for the bus tour. She just kind of like...
And they had like a cute little carpet, and that had like Taylor's silhouette on it.
I might still have it, I think. I don't know.
And it was kind of cool because that was like the closest we've ever been to Taylor because she was signing right in front of the bus. Yeah. So we're like, oh my goodness. So you had to just kind of walk around and walk in the bus really fast. But that was really cool. Sorry.
So we got onto the bus and Andrea kind of like showed us around and talked about the front of the bus, which was it's just like basically like any tour bus. It's just like a couch and sitting and eating area basically. And she just kind of showed us around and it was really cool. And she sent us to the back and she talked to the other two girls in the front. So we went to the back and she actually has, I don't know if you guys knew this or not, she has like a pull-out
treadmill. Like connected to the bathroom.
In the back. You like look up and you're like, what is that?
Yeah.
But so there was that back there, and then her bed was like so nicely made and like really cushiony.
They had like a nice guitar laid across it.
There's also a wall with like a whole bunch of fan pictures on it, which is really cool to know. She like keeps pictures of fans in her bus.
We were thinking of pinning a picture of us on there. The two girls we were with were up there with Andrea, and Andrea was letting her hold the award, and my mom was like, hey, we want to hold the award too, and Andrea was like, you guys will get your chance. And so anyways, so we came back up finally, and it was our turn to hold the award, and so then she was kind of talking to us. So we held her award, and then she was like, here, let me get your picture of all of you guys on the bus. So Andrea took a picture of my mommy and Taylor, and then she was like, so have you guys ever met Taylor? And we were like, no, but we've been to all these concerts.
Been to 4 concerts, and we just love her so much.
And we drove all the way here for this, and we told her where we were from and stuff, and she's like, I don't even know what
she was like, you guys haven't met Taylor? We're like, no, and we had no idea what she's going to say.
Yeah.
She was like, you need to meet Taylor. So, and then she pulled out the passes, and there was 3 of them, and they were passes that said we get to meet Taylor Swift. Okay, so here's all the pictures from the bus thing. Yeah. And this is Andrea. I guess my mom just decided to flash a picture in her face.
She must have been
talking.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then here is us in front of her bus. Yeah, look at us. Here is inside the bus, and Andrea must have been talking or something. And here is like a display case right when you walk into her bus. It's like on the right side. And there's a picture of Kelly and a picture of her and Tim and Faith and a picture of
her birthday.
Her birthday and her with a fan, it looks like, and Kelly again. Here's a picture of us in Taylor Swift's makeup mirror. And there's like a whole bunch of candles and like light switches. And then here is her bed we were talking about. And it looks so cushiony in there. And like there's a nice guitar set up, and she has some kind of record award in there.
Yeah, I have a close-up picture of that.
Yeah.
So here's that close-up picture of over her bed. Must have been like the first platinum album or whatever. And so then this is us with her award, holding the award. Right before we got our great news, and this is right before that.
So like Andrea
took that picture, and then that's us standing in the bus, and then this is our faces when Andrea was telling us and giving us the pass, and Taylor had it in her hand, and that lady behind.
Megan's still holding the award.
Yeah, as this is going on, and the lady behind was the one that just gave them to her, and then there's us looking at him. Holding it. Okay, so right after we got those, my mom was like, okay, so what do we do now? Like, I guess she was just kind of...
She was, like, crying.
Yeah, mind-blowing. And so Andrea was like, well, you go get in line. And, of course, we didn't know about this, and since we had the passes. And they had, like, this little entrance, and they had a whole section. And when
you guys know what, like, an arena section
is. Yeah, like a section like that. And when you got your pass, it had the little entrance to one of the arenas. And you went and sat in the section. And once they called your row, you were brought down to where Taylor was on the floor, and you waited in line there, and then that's when you got to meet her. So it took people, of course it took a long time for, like, one row to go down and meet her, so it took up to, like, people, like, up to 4 hours for sitting there and waiting for her, but of course it was worth it. And so when my mom was like, well, what do we do now? Angie was like, I'll just have someone come take you. And so she called a lady up on the bus, or up to the bus, and she's like, can you take these guys to the meet and greet line to show them where it is? And she meant, like, bring us upstairs and through that line and stuff. But you can tell that the people were, like, all frazzled, and they just wanted to do what Taylor's mom said. And so she cut the line. She just put us in the back of the line.
Which was, like, right by the bus.
Yeah.
And just wanted to get rid of us.
Yeah, or just wanted to, like, make Andrea happy as soon as possible. And so she put us in the line. So we only ended up waiting to meet Taylor for 15 minutes instead of 4 hours. So that was good and bad, I'd say.
Kind of a whirlwind.
Yeah, because we're like, oh my god, what do we say to her? But
and I would like to add that when Andrea gave us the passes, she was like, don't tell anyone where you got this from. Because I don't think she wanted, like, people hounding her for it.
Yeah.
She didn't say it meanly.
No.
She was like, just don't tell anybody where you got this from.
And I felt bad for the other two girls on our bus. I can't even imagine what they were doing.
Yeah.
I mean, they were in the back, but Andrea was giving us passes. I would have felt horrible.
Yeah, I feel bad for them. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so, this is a picture of us at the Fast Track entrance.
And so that was, like, backstage where they put you until...
It was kind of like the beginning of the line.
Yeah.
So we waited in line for about 15 minutes, I think. And, it was finally our turn somehow. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. And, I remember I walked up to her first, and I just, like, walked up to her, and I gave her a huge hug, and I like, said, I can't believe I'm meeting you. She hugged me back, and oh my gosh, it was the best moment of my life. I can't even believe that. Okay.
Anyways, so I was, like, nervous.
Oh gosh.
I remember hugging her, too, and she was like, oh, you guys are so cute, and she was like, oh, you have Taylor, your name's written on your forehead, and Taylor was like, oh, my name's Taylor, too, and she was like, oh, that's so awesome.
High five!
High
and
five,
she gave me a high five.
And she gave us...
And she, when she was looking at my face, I have to do it on you, she held my face like that and looked at me, and it was just so amazing.
And what else? We told her that where we were from, and she was like, oh my gosh.
You came that far?
Yeah.
And she was so, yeah.
Yeah, and she was like, that's so sweet of you, and... we told her we were coming back next week for the show she was going to be playing in. She said she was super excited for that, and she smelled amazing.
Yeah, kind of like
amazing,
to be honest.
Yeah. We probably told her that we had just seen her in concert.
And that we loved her so much. And it was probably about a 3-minute conversation, I would say.
Yeah, and it was on Ustream, so if you can get that to work, you
go ahead. I'll put a link below of that if you guys want to see that.
And, I was going to say something.
And she also said, and she was so nice, she was like, do you guys want to take a picture? Like, we don't have to ask to take a picture with her. She wants to take it with us.
And she gave us, like, 3 hugs.
And, oh, gosh. And when you hug her, I don't know if any of you guys have met her, but when you hug her, you can literally, like, wrap your arms around her because she's so tiny.
Yeah. Or if you have your arm around her, like, when you're taking your picture.
Yeah.
You can, like, get around to her other side.
Here's our picture with her.
We're looking cute.
Yeah.
I looked like I was in pain, but I really wasn't.
Know how I managed to smile in this picture, honestly. And back there, you can see the Love Story castles and
that we were talking about from the ceiling. And
the buses.
Those were cool semis. I forgot.
I know. And I don't know if you can see, but it says Taylor Swift on our face, too.
So this is our autograph that we got when we met Taylor.
And I have one, too, but it's framed and... I didn't want to get
So, it's hanging on our wall. So after we got done, we're like, oh my gosh, like, our life is accomplished. What do we do now?
What do you do with your life now?
We had expected to be there all day. I mean, that's the reason we came down there, and it was, like, only 10 o'clock, so we're like, okay, what do we do now? Yeah, we basically done everything and more that we wanted to, and so, keep in mind, I still had to use the bathroom an hour later, so I was like, we need to go to the bathroom. And so we went upstairs and did that, and we were hungry, so we ate. And my mom, there was obviously countless amounts of seats because we were in an arena, so my mom just sat in one of those, and me and Taylor like, let's just go stand. Yeah. Like, we were so super excited, and, like, we could not contain ourselves, so we went and stood by the stage, because she was supposed to be performing soon, because she was having a free concert, I guess you could say. And so this is us in front of the stage, so we got right in the front row.
There was tons of people around it at that point.
I mean, we stood for, like,
an hour
or so, but maybe even more. But, so she came on, and we were in the front row, and so a few times she had walked by us. Like, there's a picture of Taylor's hand, and she was right there. So that was pretty cool. And then there's a picture of her. Oh, sorry. And then there's another picture of her. And so the performance is really good. She sang, like, 5 songs maybe.
4 or 5, yeah.
All I can remember.
Just like You Belong With Me, Love
that's
Story,
all I can remember.
Our Song. I don't know what other song she sang.
They were all, like, upbeat songs.
Yeah.
But, so the concert was amazing, and we were front row.
She walked by us, and
so yeah, the concert was amazing.
Okay, so then after that whole concert thing was over, it was probably about, like, 2 or 2:30, and the band came back out and started meeting people again, and we were like, oh, hey, we, like, haven't met half of the band yet. So I think the first person we met was Grant, and he was really, really cool, and he's always really fun to talk to.
Yeah, he's great.
I'm sure you guys know from, like, Twitter and stuff. And that's Megan with Grant, and then here's me with Grant. And then we met Paul, and he was awesome too. And then we met Caitlin, and Caitlin and Grant had the longest lines, I think. This is us with Caitlin. And then Liz came out too, and I felt really bad for her, because, like, nobody was in her line for some reason. But there's us with Liz, and, like, and then later on that day, it was not too long after that, I think, Scott, you know, her dad,
it was, like, right after that.
Yeah, it came out with Taylor's sparkly guitar and was letting people hold it. Oh. So we were like, oh, well, we gotta do that. So here's my picture with the guitar, and Scott's in the background, so this is kind
He
of
is
like,
in another picture with
yeah, we have another picture with him. I don't know where it is, but. And then here is Megan with Scott.
And that guitar was really heavy, so I don't know how she does it.
Megan, it was like a normal guitar. Well, I guess the sparkles made it pretty heavy, but it was all high tech.
And I was so scared.
Yeah.
Like, what if you were the one to drop it and you broke the guitar?
Yeah, that was kind of terrifying, to be honest.
I was like, okay.
It's probably like shaking and holding it at the same time. But yeah, that was basically.
So that basically wrapped it up. We went back through and kind of looked at everything again. Hold on. We have a lot of. Oh, here it is. They ended up forming a line, like, all the people who didn't get to meet Taylor, you gotta walk by her, so we just kind of got in that line and take pictures real quick. So there's a picture of her. So that's how, like, if you went to that, even though you didn't get to meet her, there were so many opportunities.
Other things to do, and it was just so worth it. It was all free. Like, she rented that arena for her fans.
I know, and it was all free. So
yeah. It was such a, like, cool experience to be at and to have,
and I'm so thankful we got to go,
and for everything that happened that day. So that's basically the end of our story,
and we hope you all enjoyed. We enjoyed telling it to you, and so if you have any questions about it, or I don't know, any other questions, or you want to see it, request another video,
because this was a requested video.
Yeah, leave them in the comments below, and we'll try to add pictures at the end, and that's about it.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys.
Long live the walls we crash through, all the kingdom lights shine just for me and you. I was screaming, long live all the magic we made, and bring on all the pretenders. One day we will be remembered.
Give me a break, give me a break. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar.
But there's us with Grant.
And
then
Caitlin. Frick! I did this all wrong. I put it at the end. Can we
best days, the best days of you.
day.
Oh
no.
Amount of time.
Oh no, I did it right. Chocolate and chewy gonna make your day. Everywhere you go, we hear the people say, hey! Like, I don't know what to say to her. What? Frick, I forgot. Okay, give me a break. Hey, give me a break. Break me off a piece of that. Gotta have a piece of that. Break me off a piece of that. Kit Kat bar!